Previously on Oddjobs. Jassifer and Clover faced off against a horrifying ghoul, a remnant of the necromantic curse the Lich Lord Grimgrave had left upon this dungeon. Though it was a close fight, the duo came out on top, pushing onward to face yet another trap that they then failed to disarm. Meanwhile, Jass had begun to notice that her companion wasn't keen on violence, choosing to avoid fighting whenever it came up. Clover, despite having been on a few jobs previously, was clearly a novice when it came to battle, forcing Jass to take the lead. The two then stumbled upon the remnants of a conflict that had happened days prior, corpses of man and monster strewn amongst the debris. Though the battle had been clearly fought and lost, there was still one combatant remaining, a small red ooze that attempted to shoot up Jass's nose and eat her brain the moment it had a chance. Jass initially planned to slay this ooze, as she had countless others, but chose to spare it, knowing it was no threat, the little goo sticking on her shoe as they left, a new hire joining their team. And that's where we are right now. As you march along, it kind of holds there and clings to you. Clover sees it, but doesn't say anything.
I just want a quick look and see if I could maybe take a sword from somewhere.
Yes. I'll have her roll an investigation check here. She rolls a 14 flat, doesn't add anything to that. She looks around. Swords are bent, daggers rusted, many weapons here, but so many of them in a state of disrepair that makes them as useful as, say, a bundle of arrows that have been hastily strapped together. But you eventually do find a hammer. Looks like a war hammer. It's small, probably was held by this cleric or maybe the dwarf. It's kind of scattered between them, half buried. Has some intricate, kind of beautiful designs on it, but it's definitely a simple sort of martial weapon.
I kind of feel the fit in my hand and then decide it's better than having nothing and take it with me.
You take that. You can add a warhammer to your inventory.
Thank you. I love to add a warhammer to my inventory.
But of course, I assume you're using bundle of arrows as your main weapon, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Warhammer +3, right?
Yeah, plus 20, actually.
I kind of gesture to Clover, too, and say, look, I know it's not your style, but it's good to have a dagger or something, just in case.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel that comfortable doing that. I guess I can take your sling if you don't want to hold on to it for now, but...
Sure, yeah. I'm kind of, baffled by this person who doesn't seem to really have much, self-protection happening.
Yes, exactly. You're meeting someone who is a strange combination of, all of the civilians that you've met, right? People who cower and run and hide from battles. She's carrying a lot of that sort of caution with her. Someone who really values being alive and is, doing this out of necessity. And I think that part of you is she is almost resistant to trying to protect herself. But then a part of you also notices that she seems pretty held in her convictions. She wants to do right and she wants to do a good job, but she clearly was just not raised in the same way as you, which baffles your mind.
Wait a minute. Were you resurrected by this company?
What? No. I came to apply for the role, and my process to finding my job my career at Oddjobs started a little while ago, and it didn't begin with me dead. Let's just leave it at that.
All right.
Wandering these halls brings you back to your adventures with your former party. For you, it was days, but now it seems that much more time has passed. It was already spooky by many metrics, but this dungeon definitely felt more alive, and now no longer thrums with that same evil energy. Grimgrave once had many cultists roaming here, many you slayed yourself. Now it's borderline just a abandoned basement. All of the traps have been sprung, or at least are avoidable with ease. And there's some evidence that it's not completely empty. An occasional rumble in the distance, a distant growl, perhaps footsteps. But with you and Clover being incredibly cautious, you managed to take different pathways. You've already had enough battles for one trip. You are not looking forward to this. You know that it took a long time for you and your allies to move through this dungeon, and you are not trying to rush by any means, given your weakened state.
I think that Jasper, though she's used to it, this is probably a bit longer than she usually goes without seeing the sun.
As you climb another set of stairs, you see that it ends in an opening where there's some, like, a glow of that same reddish light that you saw not so long ago.
I think that glowing red light really puts Jasper back right where she was, with her feet dangling above the ground and that lich's fist clenched in the front of her armor.
You feel like a strange, almost, I don't want to say dissociative state, but this kind of pang of past fear emanating into the present that gives you pause as you climb these stairs. Clover, a step or two ahead of you, stops and turns and goes, "You okay? You need a break?"
So does the name Grimgrave remind you of anything or ring a bell?
Grimgrave! That's who owned this damn dungeon. Can't believe I forgot that. Pretty funny name.
Yeah. Jasper kind of notes that past tense, but it doesn't feel over for her, and I'll just warily continue.
You creep up the stairs towards this red light and begin to hear the sound of something heavy pouring down, echoing a bit to imply a larger space ahead. As you crest the top, you find confirmation of this. You are above a very large chamber, easily 120 feet in length, 90-foot stone bridge connecting from where you are on one side of the room over the space to another archway on the other side. As you look around, you see the glowing orange-red light comes from this wall of magma that spills down from your left. You know that this dungeon was built in the Mountains of 1,000 Miseries, a volcanic mountain chain that is definitely, very active. You recognize this wall of lava. You are in a room where you stopped a terrifying ritual that was being conducted by the servants, the cultists of Grimgrave. You're on a bridge where some warlocks of his were firing eldritch blasts down from you. You remember and look down to see where you and your allies had once fought side by side down below amongst like the scattered altar and everything. There is like a stained pit where bodies were being pushed in, a sacrifice that you managed to stop before it could be completed, but no enemy yet. You're just seeing it from a different vantage point.
Took care of a lot of cultists in here last time. Definitely be on your guard.
Oh, come on. This place has been abandoned for so long. I have no doubt that we are perfectly alone. And the moment she says that...
Jasper's thinking, when people say stuff like this, traps go off at the end.
It's always as if someone is waiting to do the trap right after
it's like
says
there's
something.
some cruel god who thinks that dramatic irony is, like, enjoyable for a listener.
That's ridiculous. And the moment that you said that, you hear a voice that echoes from a hallway that you remember you entered in from into this space to launch your attack.
Someday the Lich Lord will rise again, and we, his chosen disciples, will be rewarded with immortality and power.
And another voice responds, you've been saying that a lot, Morty, but... And he's cut off by another voice. It's Necrozar, the Necro King, Regent of Rot, Liberator of the Skelehorde, Breaker of Graves, Heir to the Underworld, new Emperor of the Undead, and your boss, Spews. Show some respect. And as you kind of like are hearing this very insane conversation happening, you look down towards that opening and see 13 figures in dirty red rag robes, like a knockoff of the cult that you had been locked in battle with for so long. These goons just like roam out, clearly having come from some sort of argument about the nature of their organization. It's very clear this is no longer the cult that you faced. You do not see the powerful warlocks and wizards and sorcerers and blood hunters who once tried to kill you and your allies. You see what amounts to essentially a fan club, and their leader, wearing perhaps the nicest, the cleanest, and best-looking red robes, goes,
That's right, Rachel. The Lich Lord will reward you especially when he finally comes.
Wait, so it's Spews, Morty, and Rachel. Perfect.
Yes, and you see the other cultists who are with them like nod and whisper, and you see Spews kind of like crosses his arms and is like, whatever. Rachel goes, yes! And this being who is named Morty, but is clearly going by Necrozar, turns to the statue on the far side of the room that rises before the pit.
Now, if you're all finished, we can begin today's prayer.
The larger cultist, who you now realize his name's Spews, mutters something. You see Necrozar whips his head to look at him.
Excuse me, Spews. Something to share with the cult?
As this is all happening, I lean over to Clover and I'm kind of whispering. I want to say, first rule of dungeoning, if someone calls themselves the Emperor of the Undead, it's kind of like the undead, they don't have any loyalty or allegiances, so it's kind of like the easiest kind of emperor to be. It would be, in my opinion, much more impressive and kind of awe-worthy to be Emperor of the Living, because those people have opinions and their own allegiances, and the dead kind of just go along with everything.
That makes a lot of sense. At first I was kind of scared of this guy, but...
It's low-hanging fruit.
The more he talks and the more that you talk, I'm starting to see that... Is this what they were like? Is this what you faced when you were down here before?
No, fearsome. Much more fearsome before.
Really? I mean, they don't seem that fearsome.
This is a new guy.
Sure? And as you're kind of having this debate, you hear that below you, a debate continues as well. Look, I'm not doubting the Lich Lord, but he hasn't been seen in, I don't know, so long, man, years or whatever. Listen, Morty, I don't think the cult is coming back.
Years? I hissed to Clover.
Shh! Shushes you. And you see that this Necrozar looks like his eyes are going to pop out of his head. And he goes,
Spews, you are completely right.
And the other cultists raise their heads from the prayer and look around at each other confused as Necrozar continues.
Much time has passed since the fall of the Lich Lord, and aside from myself, all his followers were either slain or abandoned. They left the beautiful path of undeath that Grimgrave had laid before them.
Spews, kind of confused, looks around. I mean, do you really think he's coming back? With all these people abandoned, don't you think they left it for a reason, man? You see Necrozar nods sympathetically.
You're right, Spews. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm sorry for wasting your time. Come here.
And Spews rises from his prayer and comes and walks around the stained pit towards where Necrozar stands at the base of the statue. Necrozar puts a weak, bony hand upon his shoulder. You can just make out this incredibly frail inside kid of a cultist. His green eyes glistening beneath his hood.
I was just a boy when I first came to the service of the Undead Emperor. He took me in as an apprentice. I know I look so young, but it was I've belonged for a very long time. Since he was here, it wasn't just my family, it was also me, actually. And he loved me. I was like his direct apprentice, Spews. So he told me many things. I remember one time we are standing on that bridge right up there.
And he points up to the bridge.
Clover and I have started sneaking during all of this while they're talking. I'm like, come on, these idiots will never notice us.
Give me a stealth check.
Yeah, okay. Get out here, Gummy Die. She's back.
Oh,
and we're on podcast now, so I can finally clip.
Yeah, people know what the Gummy Die looks like.
I'm so sad I have disadvantage because my first roll was a nat 20, but the second roll is a 7, which with my +4 is an 11.
Is the moment they point up towards you, and as you freeze, just gonna roll a perception check with advantage for the cult.
So that's me. I bet you're wondering how I got here.
with a 13 on their perception check.
Fuck.
You see that the eyes of the cultist follow his finger and immediately clock you, this tiny little goblin in creaking armor, and this puffy white rabbit folk. You both like raise a hand in a wave. Clover goes, well, shit. Necrozar, a.k.a. Morty.
Your tail was showing over the railing. I immediately blame it on Clover.
My tail is just a little puffy cotton ball. That can't be
and it's
my
white and it stands out.
How do we know it's not your squeaky armor? Why are you even wearing that stuff?
I look over and make eye contact with them. You're right, it might have been combined, both of us.
Both of us? You see, Necrozar has not noticed you guys are talking and just has continued monologuing.
Yes, we gathered and watched sacrifices be, well, sacrificed. And he told me, someday, Necrozar, you will lead all of these people. I may fall, but if I do, they will need someone strong and charismatic and brave. Someone who, despite the loss, despite my absence, will still believe. You see, faith, Spuse, is something they can never take from us. And, wait, what are you all looking at?
And turns and looks over at you.
Oh, fuck. Perfect! The sacrifices are right on time! Yes! Quickly! Grab them, and let us spill their life essence in the name of Grimgrave.
And then he goes to Spuse.
Oh, yeah, and I was going to do this earlier.
And he pushes him into the pit. And he's like, ah! Crumbles into the pit.
I look at Clover. Now's where we run.
I need you to roll initiative.
I rolled a 17 for initiative.
Okay, so Clover and you are actually at the top of initiative once more, which is great. This cult rolled very, very low.
They are very far below us, right?
They are. You're like 60 or so feet above them. You're about halfway across this 90-foot bridge, which means that if you take a dash action on your turn, you will indeed reach the doorway.
Not me.
Oh, well, yeah, 40 feet, it would only make it. I think that's partially because you're wearing heavy armor and you can't wear it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to think about that.
Yeah, we're gonna workshop that. So initiative begins. These cult immediately begin to scramble, and you watch some of them like pulling out components, some of them grabbing like crossbows out of their bags. They are a mess. This is honestly a group of civilians who have just acquired these things and are trying to launch an attack. You watch as Necrozar is backing up, going like,
yes, get them! Get that way! We can cut them off at the pass, and you will all lead!
And as that is happening, you feel Clover's soft hand grab yours. She looks at you and goes, come on! And she begins to sprint. She's just gonna take a full dash action.
Cool. I'll let myself get lifted off the ground and pulled along with her faster than my little goblin legs can go in this clunky armor.
She grabs you, and the two of you begin to run. Obviously, because she's forcing your movement, you don't move full speed. But together, if on your turn is next in initiative, if you also do a dash action, assuming you don't choose to take some pot shots at the people below, which you are welcome to, you can get to the doorway in this turn.
I am also going to dash while just hollering back at these cultists. Pick a new hobby. You don't want to do this. Necrozar is a bad name. Good luck.
Necrozar is a cool name. It's so cool. Make her pay for that. Make her pay!
I secretly think it's a cool name, but Jasper doesn't.
Yeah, it's a loser name, and anyone who would like that name is also a loser. Right, Jass?
Yeah. I mean, it's a little better than Grimgrave, but...
I guess it is kind of better. We'll talk about this later. Two of you rushing down the hallway. This is kind of a chase initiative. We are going to be doing an encounter that is a little unorthodox. Now, you are running through these halls. On each of your turns, we're going to roll a d20. On 11 or higher, you encounter no traps, you encounter no other threats, you continue to move your full movement, which we'll say, for the sake of the two of you moving on the same initiative, is basically 60 feet per round, together, collectively. With that in mind, if you roll a 10 or lower, you will encounter some sort of trap, and each sort of failure, or each sort of thing you encounter, the cult gets a little closer. 3 failures and they catch up, and we will see what happens there.
Okay.
The cult's turn. Obviously, they dash down the hallway they had just come from. Necrozar kind of going,
Yes, I'll wait here and keep the prayer going.
As they chase after you, these 12 cultists begin to race through the tunnels. You hear them far off, their footsteps echoing up random staircases. So many different ways these hallways connect, but you can't think about that now. You can't think about that threat. You got to just keep going. Why don't we roll another d20 on your turn?
Terrible judgment. I can't believe they're really following that guy. 16.
A successful check. You continue to rush through these halls. You are looking to get 5 successful checks to escape. And again, 3 failures and they catch up. First one done. You continue to run. I'm going to roll a perception check for them. You give me a stealth check.
7 on my stealth. There is no stealthing. I'm just running full out and like careening down the hall, smashing into walls, like shoving Clover in front of me.
Literally every time you hit a brick, there's like a crack and several pieces of stone just tumble down, making more noise. You hear someone go like, "They're over here!" And you recognize Rachel's voice as she clocks that you're coming up from a stairwell. They rolled an 11 on their perception, which means they get a success in terms of finding you. Let's go to the top. Let's roll another d20.
19.
Another success. You do not encounter anything on their turn. They're going to do a perception check. You give me a stealth check. And if there's anything you want to do as an action to sort of involve here, you definitely can.
As we're like running down a long hallway, can I take the slingshot and try and shoot a piece of rubble like in the opposite direction of us so that maybe they'll hear like a clanging going the opposite way?
Ooh, I like the way you think. Why don't you give me a deception check instead of a stealth check this round?
Okay. Big money. 14.
They rolled a 4 on their perception check. So they're looking, they do hear that sound, and they are deceived into thinking that that is where you are. That essentially buys you another round. If you had had a failure, that would have negated it, but this just gives you another success. So you are now at 3 total successes. Top of the round again. You get another action to react. Is there anything else you want to do besides run?
No, I'll keep dashing with Clover. I'm fairly certain that we can leave these guys behind in the dust.
Okay, she's going to give you a bardic inspiration for whatever sort of next move you have to roll on. And it is indeed their turn. They're going to roll a perception check. You give me a stealth check. And of course, you can add that bardic if you'd like.
I rolled 2 15s. Beautiful. With my stealth, that's a 19. No need to use the bardic.
And that's only a 10 for their perception check. You are blowing them out of the water. As you continue to sprint, you begin to see the value in a tactical retreat. You had been telling yourself that for some time after your unfortunate end to the last battle, prior to your most recent battle with Grimgrave. But now you do actually sincerely see the value, and Clover goes, "Come on, I know this way. I'm recognizing these halls. We're nearing the end. We can do this."
I think happily about not having to eat another protein bar for a meal and urge myself to run a little bit faster.
You rush, clink, 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 just like squeaking metal as you charge down another hallway. You push through a wooden door and crash and tumble. Clover helps pick you up. Go ahead and give me another stealth check.
Do I need to roll another d20 or?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Roll another d20 for me.
That one's a 4.
Okay. As you are running, you burst through this door. Clover picks you up. The two of you rush forward, and you feel your foot hit something on the ground, and the ground opens up. Another pit trap. You see spikes beneath it. Give me a dexterity saving throw.
Shit. I kind of teeter on the edge of it, arms wheeling with Clover right behind me. That is a 7. I'll use the bardic. Only a 9.
You fail, and so does Clover. The two of you fall. She rolled a natural 1.
Ooh.
You take 7 damage, and she does as well.
Back down to 2 hit points, Noah. It's where I'm most comfortable.
Yeah, honestly, you thrive in the 2 zone.
It's a lot of pressure.
Exactly. You two plummet into this pit and feel these like crude sticks that have been placed here stab into you, drawing blood. It is a devastating hit. Your world begins to spin from blood loss, but with Clover holding on to you, you see she goes, "Come on, we gotta keep going."
Yeah, we do.
She is severely injured as well. She also has 2 hit points. As you pull her up, you lose a round. That gives them a win. They only need 2 more, and they will find you. Now let's go again. Roll a stealth check.
Okay.
They rolled bad in their perception, so you should be okay.
Looking at how heavily Clover and I are bleeding, I go, "So you only have one of those scrolls? So if you die right now, I can resurrect you?"
I mean, I have a resurrection clause in my contract, but if you die, I think it's the end for you, my friend.
Nat 20.
You pull her from the pit,
I don't want to die again.
bleeding everywhere. Your armor is broken. You see a piece of it actually just like kang, 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 like clangs off on the ground as you just, pull one of these sticks from you and climb out of the pit, dragging her with you. You hear the sounds of the heavy footfall in the distance, and you realize perhaps hiding wouldn't be the worst thing. You, after a moment, reach up, press the stone that had first triggered this trap, and then you pull your hands in and watch as it closes above you. You hear the sound of footsteps, and they run and run and run into the room. One of them foot hits the stone, it opens up, they fall. Natural 20, one of them almost falls in, and Rachel, who is this kind of like strong-jawed dwarven woman, bright, sort of dirty blonde beard, grabs this cultist and pulls them back and goes, "Look!" and points in the pit. Clover is going to pretend to play dead. If you would like, you can join her, or you can try and launch an attack. She's going to roll a deception check.
Yeah, I think that as the button is pressed and the stone pulls back over us, Clover and I are both just laying there with our tongues out and like X's over our eyes.
Yeah, it's like you've managed to kind of pull yourself off of most of the sticks, but rather than like, try and pull anything, you just fake dead. Give me a deception check.
It's a 5.
I'm going to say that in this moment, Clover gives you her last bardic, so you get a d6 to add to that. She rolled a 9.
I rolled a 7 total.
The cult rolled a 7 on their medicine check. They look. That one's dead, points at Clover, but then points at you, kind of lying on the ground, and goes, "I think that one's still alive, though."
Can I try and give like a death rattle? I think back to the many times I've been very taking care of injured soldiers laying on the battlefield, and I go,
"Give me a deception check with disadvantage."
Yeah, fair.
You get a second chance, but it's going to be with disadvantage. I will keep
Fair.
their insight check at 7. So the DC
really
you have to
kind.
beat is 7.
Deception, right?
Deception. Deception.
I rolled really good on both rolls. I blow it out of the water. I do a really convincing death rattle. I have been dead before, and even though I was, not really conscious for it, I still remember what it looks like.
You've given many a death rattle to someone else as you've killed them, so you do your best. Like actually, can you again give me the death rattle?
Yeah.
And then you see one of them puts a hand on Rachel's shoulder and goes, "No, it looks like they're dead now. Shall we report back to Necrozar and tell him we successfully sacrificed them? Maybe take credit?" And you see Rachel goes, "That's a great idea. I'm glad I had it." Then she slaps the person on the back and tries to knock them in.
Oh.
They roll a 4 on their dex save.
Oh.
They have commoner stats. They have 4 HP.
Oh no! Why are they down here?
And that is 5 hit points, 5 damage. This person just, and it's just like pierce through the head, pierce through the chest, pierce through the torso, just like full dead right between the two of you. You see Clover literally breaks her silence, goes like, oh my God, just like horrified. And you go, well, job well done. Let's go. And the group turns and leaves.
We wait with bated breath, listening to the footsteps slowly disappear and the sound of kind of whatever door they have to close between us closing.
You wait for minutes, just making sure.
Is that guy really dead?
Does the exact same death rattle as you.
Wow, that was good.
Yeah, damn. It's a spot-on impression.
All right, pull him out so we can take whatever equipment he has. And I start to clamber out of the pit.
You yank this guy out of the pit as you are finally free of this terrifying encounter. First, why don't you give me a luck check? Roll a d20 and 11 or higher. Let's see if he's got something good on him.
14.
14.
You know, Dice Christ really said, let's bless the new campaign. A couple funny nat ones, but we're gonna let Lisa have a couple wins. Other than dying.
You find 3 gold, 6 silver, and 9 copper.
Perfect. Only something like 69,689 and 73 cents to go, or I don't know, I'm a soldier, not a mathematician.
You see Clover stands over and goes, oh, look, and pulls a dagger from their pocket as well, in case you want another one.
You sure you don't want anything to defend yourself with?
Give me a persuasion check.
Look, those guys might have been weenies, but there's some real stuff down here. Seriously, if your company's sending you down here, they ought to at least give you a loaner. It's a 9 on persuasion.
They offered, but I refused. I prefer the non-violent route if I can take it, you know?
Jassifer just slowly shakes her head and takes the dagger, sticks it into her waistband.
You take that, you turn and head through the next archway, continue to travel through the stone tunnels of this terrifying labyrinthian dungeon. Eventually, you find yourself walking in a familiar grand hallway. An old, faded carpet extends the length of the space to a set of wide stone stairs, the sole entrance and exit of this dungeon. You remember a long time ago, probably days or weeks in game, when you took the time to come down here and travel through. You got lost so many times, fought many battles, were forced to rest, and have now found yourself returning to the surface. Truth be told, you probably didn't expect to return at all, hoping to die a hero's death. But what do you think's going through your mind, and what do you think Jass is feeling as she sees the exit?
I think that when we came down here, I'd taken my short sword and kind of chipped a little notch beside the door. As someone who's been dungeon delving before, I know that exits and entrances change or make illusions of themselves, and so I had put this chip here so that even if I fell killing Grimgrave, that my party would at least be able to find their way out. And I touched that little divot in the wall, thinking that I did not expect to be walking out of here without them.
You touch that divot in the archway. You see that it's worn quite a bit. It was a rough cut when you did it, but now so much time has passed that just the presence of air in this space has worn it a bit. You look at this stairwell rising before you and breathe what can only be described as a uneasy sigh of relief, if that contradictory explanation makes sense. Clover looks up at the stairwell. Whew! Better time than I made it last time. Took me about 2 days to get to you.
What happens next, Clover? What, I just find a job and mail you checks every month?
Well, if you'd like, you can come back with me. we can, organize some sort of payment plan. I mean, do you have a place to go after this?
Depends what world is waiting for me up there.
Why don't we go see?
Yeah, let's see.
You scale this staircase, passing by long dead bodies, skeletons at this point, some even beyond that crumpled apart. Many adventurers had plunged into these dungeons prior to you, and perhaps many others after. All dead, long gone, stories over. You push through this massive, ancient stone door, just the two of you, it grinds open, and you see this cavernous opening that leads towards moonlight in the distance. Butter my backside and call me a biscuit. We made it.
I will not do that. We're acquaintances, coworkers at best.
It's an expression where I'm coming from. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. Well, thank you, Jass, for everything. I'm sorry for being so rude after your revival. I tend to be a bit too trusting right off the bat, and I'm trying, with this new job, I'm trying to be more professional and a little more discerning.
I think Clover describing herself as rude when Jassifer is really used to being in really gruff relationships and gruff workplaces and not having a lot of laughs or little jokes. Jassifer just goes, no, you weren't rude at all.
I don't know, I swore several times at least.
Look, I know, I was just dead, so probably seems like I'm not the best advice giver, but I'd like to give you some.
Go right ahead. I'm all ears. She, her big bunny ears twitch a little bit. Or at least 30%.
Before your next job, pick up a dagger, and I'll walk up the stairs.
You walk up the stairs, Clover pausing for a moment and then following. You trudge up to the top as it opens into a ruined temple, a once beautiful cathedral now toppled, chunks of stone scattered. This is far different from the evil church that you had once walked through and slayed many enemies in. Clover easily navigates the rubble, and as she does, and you sort of look around wondering, you see that indeed Grimgrave has fallen, and it has been some time since that has happened. You finally exit the ruins of this temple and see, though you're unclear about how much time has passed, it must have been quite a bit, because the mountains of 1,000 miseries are now a beautiful, snow-capped mountain range, lush trees and forests growing in the distance, starry night above, bright full moon illuminating this beautiful mountainous landscape. It's peaceful, a land that is healed for some time. Clover surveys the space coming up next to you. You're mostly just awestruck by what you're seeing and the realization of probably how much time has passed. And you see that she kind of peers and goes, "Oh, over there," and points towards some sort of vehicle tucked behind a bunch of bushes.
Is that your cart?
Cart, in a way. Oh man, they don't have... it was the first time I was exposed to these kind of things. It was a bit of a shock. Are you... Well, I guess if you're welcome to join me, but if you want to stay here and find whatever home you might have, I guess this is goodbye.
The words goodbye echo just back and forth across all of these mountains as Jass stands in the wet snow, breathing in this fresh air, and sees absolutely nothing recognizable. There's no horses that were tied up here waiting for us. There's no pack on my back, just a dagger and a slingshot and a bouquet of arrows.
And a warhammer.
And a warhammer, yeah. Can't forget that one. And I said to Clover, show me this vehicle.
She looks at you and there's a smile on her Again, adorable, beautiful, semi-human, semi-rabbit face. A little twitch of her nose. She nods. All right. Move quietly. I don't know what's waiting for us up here. I called up and didn't get a response, so just be careful.
Right, your friend. Zod, you said, was supposed to be up here?
He should be waiting in the car. I told him to keep quiet, so he might just not know we're here, so move with caution.
I creep behind her and let her guide the way towards this van.
Your creaking armor causes her to wince for a moment, but she takes a breath and continues forward. Descending the rock, you start to get a better look at what Clover was pointing towards. Hidden between two rock walls and some high-altitude foliage is what we would recognize as a van. Literally a modern light commercial vehicle painted with this bright, blue, sapphire blue that's peeling near the fender's edge, a dent in the left side. Perhaps the most pristine part of the vehicle is the logo, printed in this massive, 80s retro-style font. Oddjobs below in small typeface. An adventuring company.
You weren't lying.
Clover whispers out, Zod, you there? No response.
Hand on my dagger.
She nods and points to the passenger side and kind of points to herself and points to the driver's side.
We split off and kind of flank the van.
Give me a stealth check.
Okay. I love to do these, by the way.
These stealth checks? Yeah, this is your best stat.
I love to do these. 11.
Okay, she rolled a 14. Actually, she rolled a total, with her bonus, she rolled an 18. You creep towards this vehicle, holding your breath, hand on your weapon. The two of you pop up on either side of this van, see that the driver's side door open. No one inside. Keys left in the ignition.
Your getaway ditched you. We took too long.
Maybe he just went to take a piss. Suddenly you hear a whooshing of air and the bloody body of this handsome Chad-like man wearing a leather jacket crashes on the front windshield, shattering it. Give me a dexterity saving throw.
What? Oh no. 11.
It was a DC 10. Again,
Oh,
benefits
phew.
of level 1. You would have taken 2 damage.
I would have died.
You would have died.
Or passed out.
Clover as well, as you see that she doesn't roll fast enough, unfortunately. Let me see. She does actually have an ability here. And when you fail a dex save, you can use your reaction to roll a d4 and add to see if you can increase the possibility of success. Her total, she rolled a 4. She gets a 4 dex. That puts her to 8. She just needs a 2 or higher on this d4
Come
to
on,
not
Clovey.
take the damage. That's a 2, baby!
Yes, queen. 2 is the number of the day.
Yeah, seriously. She manages to duck as the glass sprays out, and you look up to see just this horrid creature flying above. Clover going, hands on her hips. Oh, Zod, you should have included a res clause in your contract. She grabs him and yanks him off the hood of the car as you hear this hawk red elk roar emanate from throughout the mountains. You look up and see 3 of these horrific bird-like creatures screeching above. They look to be almost a cross between an eagle and a stag, though their eyes glow with a menacing orange light, their bony jaws filled with razor-sharp teeth. Clover's ears standing straight up, her red eyes wide. She goes, "We gotta go." She leaps into the driver's seat, pulls out the keys, puts them back in. Clearly she's had to do this before, and starts trying to rev the engine. What do you do?
Oh my god. I sling myself into the passenger side of the vehicle, and I'm disoriented by everything around me, but I go, this thing goes, right? Make it go.
Shut the door. She grabs her door, shuts it. You grab yours, you shut it.
I think we lean over each other and we shut each other's doors just in panic.
Oh, that was very nice of you. Thank you. Listen, if you want to come with me, now's your chance. Otherwise, you're going to be diving out this window on the way down. What do you say?
Is her dead friend in the car with us, or did she just throw him out into the snow?
Threw him out on the side of the road.
And that guy?
No res clause. I can't bring him back with me. Let's not waste time. You in or you out?
In.
Buckle up, Buttercup. You mean you like grab, which by the way, you don't know what a buckle is in this sense.
I don't know what a buttercup is either.
You're like, huh? And she just hits her massive rabbit foot on the gas.
I slam my head into the dashboard and then the fucking safety bag just pops out.
I'm gonna say you take 1 damage as that happens.
On death's door, I'm just clinging to like the handle that's over the passenger seat that you like hang clothes from.
You are rocketing down this mountain, peeling out of the stone and dirt, running over small bushes and snow and any unfortunate creature that may be hiding in them.
We're going way faster than I ever have in my entire life.
Truly, this vehicle goes way faster than you could have ever expected. And you look out the window as you're screaming and see these horrible, like bird-like creatures, which I'll tell you are called peritons. They're swarming, coming down, chasing after you. You hear one clang on top, begin to claw at it and gnash its teeth. Clover looks to you. Have you ever traveled between planes before?
No. What kind of question is that?
Dang. All right, and she like reaches into like the side compartment in front of you and yanks out a bag and shoves it in your hands. This car, by the way, is a mess. It is filled with equipment. There's like blinking bright lights everywhere. There's like a strange device that's like whirring in the dashboard. It's like humming louder and louder and louder. She goes, look, don't make sick in the company vehicle. Odessa will charge us a cleaning fee by the ounce. Blood is one thing, but vomit, she just thinks it's cringe, okay? So please, do your best not to get sick.
I promise to only bleed out, which, by the way, I'm gonna do soon.
Hang on! She like shifts into a new gear, and you watch as these blue and purple arcane lights trace the frame of the vehicle. Sparks begin to fly, singeing you. You grip your seat and look out the window as the colors of the environment blur and drag as it's like light extending out of a black hole. Your stomach churns and flips. You feel G-forces pulling at your face.
As I feel ourselves start to splinter through planes traveling at the speed of light, I press my hands and my feet up against the dashboard, just trying to keep my body in the seat, and looking down, I see a little red goo in my boot.
You see this little red goo kind of wiggles a little tendril at you.
God damn it.
As the lights get brighter and brighter, you rocket forward and tear through reality in a flash. And appear in a world unlike anything you've ever seen. And that's where we'll end our episode today.
Ooh!
Oh,
my
doggy!
goodness. We're so bad.
We're so back.
We've been playing since the first episode, by the way.
Yes, for the record, we are trying out the new episode format, so you're getting us at the end of several hours of recording right now.
Noah! Oh my god, what plane am I going to? Tell me now.
Oh, I wish I could, but I am under an Oddjobs contract not to, so you'll have to wait until the next arc of TNTD Oddjobs.
I can't believe I got Tom Nooked.
Thank you so much for listening. Thank you especially to our Eldritch patrons. If you would like to become an Eldritch patron, go to patreon.com/trynottodiepod. At $5, you get access to the afterlife. That's right, you get access to literally heaven or hell. It's up to you. And you get to hear us talk about the arc that we just played, get insights, share conspiracies, all sorts of fun things. Maybe we're working jobs this season of the afterlife. It's a bit thing. You'll get it if you sign up, my friend. You also will get access to a whole slew of other types of content like recipes, polls, music, random stuff that we're cooking up, character sheets, monsters, item stats, you name it, we're posting it, baby. All at that $5 tier. And then if you're like, oh, God, their voices are so sexy, so delicious. I cannot wait any longer.
Dulcet tones.
Dulcet, very demure, very demure.
Very Very demure.
Very demure. If you're feeling that we're that demure, then sign up at the $10 tier and you will get access
That'd
to...
be so demure of you.
It would be so demure. You would get access to literally like dozens more episodes. Full-length episodes.
Thousands of hours. It's gotta be.
It's gotta be hundreds of thousands of hours. It's really so much content.
We've been making it for 5 years. You get the backlog. You can be listening to bonus episodes from 2020.
Literally, even if you just signed up for 1 month, you would have access to over 40 episodes. You get so much content. Check it out. Let's see. Any plugs on your end?
Give to the Palestinian Children Relief Fund. It is a great cause, and they need your help and your humanitarian aid, even if it's only a couple of bucks. You know, if you were going to go grab a special little beverage while you're listening to this podcast, do us a favor and donate it instead.
Yeah, every bit counts. And of course, share this information with others. I actually, on my Twitch, twitch.tv/Noah the Infuriator, I am raising money. I am sharing GoFundMe links to various people who are either trying to get money for their family and friends in Palestine, or are in Palestine themselves and need that money directly. So check that out. Please donate and share if you can. I would also, of course, be remiss to not shout out Lore Party, the network that we are officially a part of.
Our wonderful new network. If you are just catching up now, Try Not to Die. We pitched our show to a network. We're now part of Lore Party. They have some amazing podcasts like Gom Jabbar, their Dune podcast, or the Lore Party podcast, where they talk about like everything nerdy. I know there's lots of cool new stuff coming out now, and we're going to be collabing with them as well, and maybe having some of them on the podcast too. It's a really exciting time.
Very exciting time. There is a lot going on in this world. We really appreciate your support, and your listenership in this moment. So yes, I guess just a final thank you, and I guess until next time. Should I say it? Are we back? Try not to die!
At 2 hit points.
All hail our Eldritch patrons! Especially Anina, Any Major Dude, Ashley, Becca B, Bugroots, Colleen, Colin, Ian, Eclair, Alana, Emily, Grace, Hope, Jacob, James, Jeff, Joey, Karen, Kate, Katie, Leo, May, Morgan, Nat, Nicola, Paige, Patrick, Roni, Sahara, and of course, our producer Patty, Patrick Bronstetter, and producer Daddies, Drew Bailey, Sam Golden, Becca Mount, and Rose Evelyn Campbell. We thank you for these podcasting powers and promise to raise hell in your names. Till next time, try not to die.